Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Ethel for putting this event together and really doing all of the work. I am very grateful for her persistence in finding a date to have this Siyyum and for making it all happen. And of course, I am particularly grateful that I have someone to learn with who has such a wide range of knowledge. Masechet Zvachim, which we have spent 3.5 years studying 5 days a week, most week, consists of 14 chapters, totaling 120 pages. For Mefarshim, we relied chiefly on Rashi and Tosfot. There is no Rosh or Rif or Ran on Masechet Zvachim because it's not halacha l'maaseh. The Rambam includes korbanot in the Mishnah Torah, for which we benefited greatly from. For the first 2 chapters, we had a book of Shiyyum by Rav Aaron Lichtenstein, and for the rest, we often used Sharei Heichal commentary, which was published only in 2010 by the Machon HaMikdash. The discussions in Masechet Zvachim are surprisingly varied. From the start, we learned about the concept of pigul, having the wrong intention to either do a korban at the wrong time or in the wrong place, and the importance in general of the Kohen's intention while doing the avodah. That was followed by discussions of who is qualified to participate in the avodah. There are 4 steps in the avodah. There's the shechting the animal, which really does not require a Kohen. It can be done by any Jew. And then you have 3 other steps: receiving the blood in a vessel, bringing it over to the mizbeach, and sprinkling it. And those 3 parts of the process must be done by the Kohen. Next, we had an examination of each part of the process to determine which of these are essential. Later chapters dealt with the question of to what extent a korban might be accepted, even if it's not done exactly as prescribed. The Gemara continues with discussions of exactly where on the mizbeach the blood of the sacrifices was thrown, and it also tells in what way the mizbeach was built. It actually seems to have been made very much in the same way that we make poured concrete. One aspect which was surprising was the extent to which the honor of the altar of the mizbeach was maintained. If something went wrong with the korban, there were occasions where the process would continue as if everything had been done right, in order not to diminish the respect given to the process. Another principle that we learned in Masechet Zvachim is that of tadir ve'eno tadir, tadir kodem. If you have 2 mitzvot before you, and one is a frequently done mitzvah and the other is less frequently done, you always start with the more everyday one. Near the end, there are discussions that relate to kashrut and allusions to the processes of kashering. This is what enables us to say that there is some small amount of practical halacha in Masechet Zvachim. What was going on in much of the Masechet was that they were trying to reconstruct the knowledge of how the korbanot were done, because it was so long after the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, the temple, that the details of what to do had been forgotten or lost due to the upheavals of that time, the destruction and the exile. And in order to figure out what must have been done, it was necessary to go back to the psukim of the Torah, the verses, and use the 13 methods of exegesis to derive the halacha anew. As a result, the study of Masechet Zvachim is very much a study of the methods of Midrash Halacha. This alone is sufficient reason to study it. I would like to thank everyone for coming to celebrate with us, and as we have embarked on the study of Masechet Beitzah, I hope that we will have the privilege of inviting you all next year for our next Siyyum. Expect an omelet party.
By means by which halacha is made, is created. how they paskin. And the interesting thing in that is that when you go through an entire sugya or
Section.
yeah, it's a unit, a unit. We go through an entire a unit, and they come out, and they've explored all the sides, and they seem to have come to a conclusion. All of a sudden, they completely reverse the conclusion, and they have a completely different reason for doing that. Often it's public policy, it's in order to prevent people from doing something or other. It's extremely interesting. It appears that pasuk trumps logic. Okay? Okay. So we say, Hadran Allah Chatas Litalan Mesechus Vachim, Hadran Allah Parat Chatas Litalan Mesechus Vachim, Hadran Allah Parat Chatas Litalan Mesechus Vachim. Now we're going to say the Hadran. And don't you think it was well deserved? V'hadra Chalan. Data Allah Mesechet Vachim v'Data Chalan. Lo nitnashem enough Mesechet Vachim v'lo Tivahari Bar Papa Bar Papa Rachish Bar Papa Surcha Bar Papa Ki Yirbu Yonecha v'Yosifu Lecha Shnot Chayim Orech Yamin B'Nina U'B'Smola Osher B'Chavavot Adonai Oz Mi'amo Yitin Adonai Yivarech Adonai B'Shalom.
3.5 years. Wow. Well, look at how it's doing.
Until Jamaica. Somehow a miraculous